Good morning everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to the TFDI MD-11 freighter one more time. We're going to fly FedEx flight 3901 today from Los Angeles over to Newark, around a 4.5-hour flight, departing Los Angeles in the early morning hours and arriving in Newark in the late afternoon. So join me for the boarding of our MD-11 as we're about to start getting our aircraft set up for service. Now, the MD-11 has seen a couple updates since we have used it the last time. Most importantly, they have added new sounds into the aircraft, which I'm really looking forward to see in action today. But let's go ahead and take a seat, and we are going to start setting our aircraft up just now. It is early morning, so it is rather cold outside here, but let's go ahead and get our APU started so that we can warm it all up a bit. The first officer starts over here, as that is the standard operating procedure in the MD-11. So the logbook's checked, the circuit breakers are all checked and in. Then the emergency equipment is checked, weather radar switch is off, the fuel switches are off, the park and brake, well, let's just head over here for a second. The park and brake is set. Spoiler and flap handles are retracted and retracted. Okay, landing gear handle down, the fuel dump and manifold pressure switches are off and guarded. The emergency power selector is in the off position, and with that we can turn on the power. So, battery coming on at first, and we do have external power available.
Autopilot.
So let's go ahead and switch it on. I wonder how you can possibly miss that one. Okay, so external power is on, then let's go ahead and run the fire tests up here.
Engine 1, fire. Engine 2, fire. Engine 3, fire.
Okay, fire tests are looking good, and with that we can go ahead and start up the APU. Something I like about the 11 is you just press the APU power button. It initiates the complete start sequence up here, all on its own, and there is not all that much we need to do. So we are just going to monitor the APU startup, and that's it. Okay then, well that's in progress. Let's go ahead and test the annunciator lights.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
Which is looking good, and then we can turn on the IRSs, which is gonna run the cargo fire test, which is looking good as well. Okay, wonderful. So then let's head right into the FMS. We've got an MD-11F with the General Electric CF6 engines, TFDI operating program, and the current nav database. Onto the flight plan in it then, and in here the GPS position looks good, so we can hit initialize GPS, and our routing is going to be from Clacks to Newark. Here we go, we'll enter the routing and everything later on. That's all going to be up for the pilot flying later. So what we can do now is to continue with our FlightX setup, and at the same time we can call for GSX to start loading our cargo. Attach pushback tag now, yes please. That's a feature that I do really appreciate, I have to say that. Alright, then let's go ahead and open a couple of the doors here. So, cargo main open, cargo right, and the bulk cargo. Let's open them all up. And for the loading we can also attach the nose weight, so that our aircraft can't topple over that easily. I'm sure you've seen those pictures of MD-11s falling on their back. Well, we've now added a couple of bricks down here, which hold our aircraft in position by holding that nose wheel down. Okay, loading is in progress then. Let's go ahead and start up with our cockpit preparation. Starting up on the voice recorder, and the test is looking good. Then our ignition system set, cargo system or cargo temperature selectors, we'll keep them on low for the time being. Engine ignition is off. Moving up here we can do the hydraulic pressure system test please, and we can monitor that one down here on the hydraulic page, but it takes a while, so I'll just let it run in the background there. The APU is available, wonderful. Emergency power armed, and then APU bleed can come on so that we can start heating up our aircraft. Fuel quantity tests are looking good. We'll have a look at the fuel quantity in a few moments here. In the meantime, emergency lights on, no smoking signs, auto. We'll stand by for the seatbelts until our loading is actually complete. Enough light coming on, the rest of the lights can remain off, and then we can start down over here.
Glide slope. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Pull up. Sink rate. Pull
Okay.
up. Terrain. Pull up. Don't sink. Don't sink. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Gear. Too low. Flaps. Too low. Terrain. Glide slope. Too low. Terrain. Caution. Terrain.
Why did I even
Terrain.
start that test?
Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Pull up.
Wondering how long that's gonna go. Okay, here we are. Finally. It only took a little while. Okay, with that we are already down on the pedestal. Overall, not all that much to do. Let's see, miscellaneous, lots of doors open, and on the engine page, ignition not armed. That's all intentional. Keep it on miscellaneous. Alright, weather radar is off, transponder. We'll be flying on the captain's seat today, and TCAR's on to above, 2000, standby looking good, trims are centered. Alright, 1215, 1228, and I think that's pretty much everything we need to do over here. Perfect, then we can't do the oxygen test, that's not simulated for the time being it seems. Okay. Suppose we're just gonna leave it at that then. Alright, over to the captain's seat, and over here we can start with the captain's pre-flight procedures. So, traffic, data, airport, and VORs. And then let's go ahead and move down into the FMS. So we could just cheat and send the flight plan to the FMC. And, well, why not? Send flight plan to FMC. Now let's have a look at the route that it's just uplinked. So Los Angeles to Newark, and then our alternate is going to be Philly. Flight number is the Fox Delta X-Ray 3901. Cruising 350 at first and 370 later. Cost index 50. So, flight plan page, Los Angeles. Let's see about our departure. Do we have any weather information in this aircraft over here? Don't really think so. Doesn't matter though, we gotta go over to Simbrief for a moment anyway, as we still got to check on our takeoff performance calculation. But first things first, departure airport Los Angeles. What do we have? Wind 0903, and the real world ATIS shows us that they are using runway 25. Okay, opposite direction traffic. That's probably because I am recording this one deep in the night Los Angeles time. In any case, altimeter 3002, and we can dial that in already. So Barrow set 3002, and the same down here and over there. Very good. Okay, so Los Angeles departing runway 25. Let's see whether it's left or right. I have a feeling we're going to depart runway 25 left today. So, clacks. Show me those charts, please. Will you? Here we go. That's better. Okay, airport and airport info. So, we've got 25 left, which is the closest, and probably just gonna take that one, right? Let's see, 3,300 meters. Yeah, more than long enough. Okay, so runway 25 left, and I do believe we have the ocean departure. Ocean 1. And that one is gonna lead us to Beale. So, Beale transition. Alright, insert. Now let's go ahead and have a look at what we just entered. Charts, SID, Ocean 1. Okay, so straight ahead to Docker, or actually to a HIPAA below 3000, then via Adore below 5000, and in here we have HIPAA below 3, Adore below 5, and then we've got Sheaf, PV, Holds, Ocean. So we have Sheaf, PV, Holds, and Ocean, and thereafter we continue via Cahill above 15,000, Zoom above 16,000, both of which we have, and then Sebi, Plate, Arcos, Yella, YZ, and Beal, and down here we have Sebi, Play, Arcos, Yella, YZ, Beal. Alright, looking good to me. Top altitude is 17,000. So let's go ahead and put that one in. Set. And that's it. Alright, wonderful. Then we can move on to the init page number 2. And over here, the aircraft has been pre-fueled. So I don't think we'll have to do a lot over there. Just to show you, we've got 91,000 pounds of fuel on board over here. And if we have a quick look into SimBrief one more time, then we can see 91,000 is the very minimum. I think the weather conditions are fine everywhere, so I don't really see reasons to take a lot of extra. Maybe some 10 minutes just for the sake of it, so plus 2,500. So if we go right back into our aircraft, let's say fuel is not 91, but let's go back here for a moment. Okay, dispatch, start payload, fuel, payload. I want to change those figures, please. But looks like we can't. Okay, payload is 150,000 pounds, leading us to a zero fuel weight of 407. Okay, so payload 150,000 pounds, and the fuel will take 93,500. I think that's better. Okay, set payload. And I think this is looking, well, tiny bit lighter, but that's fine. 93.5 and payload 150,000 pounds. Looks good to me. So these are going to be our numbers. So then, 93.5, we can just take that over. The same for the gross weights. Zero fuel weight is correct, and we can just accept the CGs from here as well. I don't find that fuel rather accurate down there. That's probably incorrect. But we'll see about it later on. So let's go on for our takeoff performance calculation, and once again we can use our SimBrief calculator for that. So let's open SimBrief one more time. Here we are. So takeoff performance, and we've got an MD-11 Los Angeles 25 left, please. We'll take the full length in meters, weights, and pounds. So takeoff weight 496.5, and our takeoff weight is 491.5. So let's calculate 492.5 just to be on the safe side there. Flaps optimum, full flags, auto. We can take a little bit more tailwind here. 5 knots just to be safe. Calculate. Here we go. So we're field length limited, runway limit is 603.5, so we have more than sufficient weight margin. So flaps 15 takeoff with a selected temperature of 60 degrees. So let's go for it. 60, packs on, flaps 15. So slope and wind, in here we'll enter the actual values 0 and 0, outside temperature 12 Celsius. Check confirm V-speeds in a moment. So climb thrust at 1628 and acceleration we can do that at 1628 as well. Alright, looks good to me. So 1500. Well then, climb thrust limits, we'll keep that on auto for the time being. Okay, so let's see, our sim brief takeoff weights, or rather our sim brief takeoff speeds, 149, 164, 169. Which are rather different from what the MD-11 calculates for us. Okay, I suppose we are going to take the sim brief speed, so 149, 164, 169 is correct. Okay, clean speed 252, 2 knots above 250. I can't be bothered about that. And with that, I think we are good to go. So FMS speed, FMS nav, profile armed. And runway heading 260, please. Or whatever it is, 253, fine with that as well. Okay, so flaps 15 for the takeoff. Here we go, that's selected. And I think with that our setup is mostly done. Looks like they are about to close the doors already. Indeed, our loading seems to be largely done. Very, very well. That means we can start to prepare our aircraft for our pushback and engine start. But first things first, let's go for the checklist, please. So, cockpit checklist. Gear pins removed, pitot-static checked, cabin signs. We're on, FCP set, speed band, taxi and 0. Altimeters 3002, reading 110 set left and set right. Fuel, we have 93,500 pounds. System display status checked. System modes are all on auto. Takeoff data inserted. Auto brake. Takeoff. Takeoff config warning
Stabilizer.
is checked, and flap takeoff selector 15. Cockpit checklist completed. Okay, with that I think we're good to go, so let's go for GSX and prepare for pushback and departure, please. So, external power can be disconnected, the APU can take over. Well, and with that out of the way, it is an odd day today, so we are going to use Igniter B. No, not you, but you. Beacon is coming on, and the transponder is coming on. Okay. So, let's just verify that all those doors are closed now. Nope, we still have a cargo door aft. Let's see. Bulk cargo, close please. Nose weight can be removed, ground power can be removed, chocks can be removed as the parking brake is set. And with that, we are about ready to start our pushback. Okay, doors are all closed now. Wonderful. So, for the time being, give me the airport chart, please. Alright, so for our departure briefing. You can start, please. Okay, thank you. So, Los Angeles runway 25 left, departing via the Ocean 1 departure, climbing 17,000, but we gotta keep that HIPAA and ADOR restrictions below 3 and 5,000 respectively in mind. MSA-wise, we're looking at 3,000 over the open water, and we have 2,000 pounds of extra fuel, which is about 10 minutes. Sounds very good. So, I don't see any hotspots for our taxi routing here. Stop margin for ejected takeoff should be plenty. Engine outset straight ahead 25 miles, climbing 3,000 feet. If we need to make an immediate return, Los Angeles is the best option. 25 right is the longest runway and the most suitable runway for us. Now, we are above the maximum landing weight, so if we need to make an immediate return, we are going to read the overweight landing checklist if time permits. In terms of special or non-standard operations, I don't really have anything here. Non-standards, nothing either. So that's our briefing completed, unless you have any threats for the departure. No threats. Wonderful. Okay then. So, before start checklist, please. Cabin. Well, should be secured. We can go ahead and close that door as well. Here we go. Okay, cabin secured, mobiles off, engine ignition B, beacon on, system modes auto, and parking brake set before start checklist completed. Ground from flight deck, go ahead. So please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed, Captain. Roger, we are clear to push, parking brake set. Okay, release parking brake. Parking brake released. Roger, starting the pushback, stand by for engine start. Standing by. Okay, here we go. So, one of the first things that we are going to notice that's new is the sounds. For that reason, once we actually commence our engine start, we will have a very close listen to that. Right, you're clear to start the engines. Roger that, commencing engine start, and we're going to start in the sequence 3-1-2. Starting 3. Engine 3 start. Okay. Fuel on. Ouch, GSX is wrecking our aircraft again. Winglet right through the steps. Okay, pushback complete, set park and brake. Brake set, we're starting engine 1. Okay, N2. N1. Oil pressure. 15%. EGT. Okay, starting engine 2. Clear 2. So, I think the ramp agent just went somewhere over there already. Yeah, there she comes. She should have waited until the engine start is completed, but let's not worry about that. Okay. And fuel coming on. Alright, the clear signal is received. Thank you very much. Thumbs up. Bye-bye. Very efficient handling today. Nothing to complain about. Take it from a German. Okay, wonderful. Start a cutout. So, the anti-ice is off. APU is going off. Hydraulics are automatic. Ground equipment is removed. Okay, so flaps 15. So, trim 6.4. Flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Okay, after start checklist. APU. Off, anti-ice, off, system modes, auto, after start checklist complete. So, taxi straight out, right hand side, and then to the full length for our runway. Park and brake released. Let's go. Tiny bit to the left here to get it back onto the center line. They have removed the stairs by now, very good. I don't want to break my winglet twice on them. I gotta love this slight early morning fog that we have here in Los Angeles. That's just looking really, really cool, isn't it? Okay, so leaving the ramp onto Alpha. Now comes the hard part, getting that first turn right. So, speed is below 10, let's see what it's gonna do. Okay, looks rather fine. Yep, that is a good turn indeed. Alright, I have no changes to the takeoff briefing. And then we can go... well, not the entire full length, I believe this is our holding point already. Foxtrot. Yep, Foxtrot is the full length of 25 left. Okay, runway 25 left, line up and wait. FedEx 3901. So, weather radar coming on.
Approaching 25 left.
Intentional. And lining up. Okay, going a little bit uphill over here. Looks like we need a bit more power to keep it moving. Come on. That is a lot more power. So, takeoff checklist please. Flight controls, checked. Flaps, 15. Spoilers, armed. EAD, checked. And trim, 6.4 units. Takeoff checklist complete. Okay, ready to go. As predicted, the AI is using opposite. That doesn't really matter to us, does it? Okay, come on aircraft. How much power do you need? 50% to make that slight bit uphill here. That's a little bit extreme if you ask me.
On runway 25 left.
Checked. Okay, ready? Takeoff. Timing. Auto thrust. That's a little bit too much thrust there, but it's more or less set. 100 knots, checked. Rather quiet, but with the engines that far in the back, maybe. V1. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. So around about 15 degrees pitch. Perfect. Very, very nice. So 3000 at first. The plane flies a lot better since the recent updates. They have done a tremendous job there. Okay, flaps retract. Speed checked. So, 5,000 feet next. So let's retract.
Stabilizer motion.
And 250 knots. That was a little bit harsh on the pitch up, but it's not trimmed perfectly just yet, so... Alright, 17,000 next. Autopilot 1. So, lights are going off, and that's it for the time being, isn't it? I think there's an auto brake left that we have to turn off. Okay, wonderful. We're up and in the air. That's how I like it. Very efficient, and we are only just 32 minutes into the video. Perfect. A little bit laggy as we're looking around, but look at this. Wow. That's how I like my Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now we need some sunshades simulated, please. But I don't think we have any just yet. Hopefully with a future update. I have to say I like those sounds. I really do like them. It's uniform, if you know what I mean. It just sounds like, yeah, that plane is working. Right, 10,000. We're gonna leave the lights till 18. Fast belts off. It's not like we have any supernumeraries on board today, but you get the idea. Always want to stay in the habit of doing these things. If you ever get out of those habits, that's when you're going to mess up whenever you do have supernumeraries on board. So down here it says optimum 310, maximum 378. I don't quite believe in that optimum here. If SimBrief tells me flight level 350, then I kinda want to trust SimBrief over that FMS for the time being. And that's not only because I did check the real-world flights track beforehand and they went to 350 as well. Okay, in any case, let's go flight level 350. Here we are. So, climb thrust 35,000. Okay everyone, I sure hope that you have enjoyed our flight so far. I tend to say we don't have any problems meeting any of those restrictions. So let's go ahead and speed this one up a little bit, and then I see you all as we are closing in on our destination. In the meantime, enjoy the beautiful views as we're flying coast to coast in the United States. So we're closing in on the last waypoint of our route. I'd say it's about time that we are going to enter our arrival. So into Newark we are going to fly the ILS approach runway 22 left, which is the approach that's currently in use in the real world as well. Our arrival is going to be the Williamsport 3 arrival, that's FQM3, transition from Sierra Lima Tango, and for the ILS itself, we don't really need any transition there. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. Alright, insert that surely moves our top of descent a little bit after as well, giving us a little bit more time to start to prepare for our arrival. Now let's go ahead and have a look at what we have just entered. So into the plan mode, decrease that range, and off we go. So for the charts we're looking at Newark, and you can find that one for me please. Will you? Sometimes the EFB seems a little bit annoying here. Come on, my friend, you can do it. Aha! Wonderful. So, Williamsport 3 arrival, going from Sierra Lima Tango to Fox Quebec Mike, and then via Max, Height, Raki, and Raki at 13,000. So, Rex, Height, Raki. Raki, expect to cross at 13,000, and unfortunately that is not in here. So let's go ahead and add that thing manually. So 13,000 at. Wonderful. So then we continue via Penn's Suite at 7,000 to Broadway. And we have Penn's Suite, and that's going to be in 7,000. And then radar vectors. And indeed, rather hard to see on the chart, but after Suite it is radar vectors indeed. Broadway just happens to be there. Our approach is going to be an ILS approach towards runway 22 left, which is in use according to the real world ATIS at the moment. So starting at Iseko, gimme, bust. Let's see that in here. We started Zavpi and bust. Okay, so we are missing gimme and Iseko. Well, that's fine. Let's continue. So the go around is fairly easy. Climb to 500, then climbing right on 3,000 feet on heading 225, and inbound Alfa Romeo Delta VOR radial 069 to Kilmar. Okay, so 225 and then 249 inbound to Kilmar, and in here we've got pretty much exactly that. Alright, then on the progress page we have nothing significant for the time being. Nav radios, do we need anything? Well, suppose we can use Alfa Romeo Delta 108.2. And I'm going to turn that one active and onto a course of 249 inbound. Like that. Okay, perfect. For the performance, the descent is going to be at 330 knots, Mach 0.8, that's good. Descent forecast, let's go ahead and enter some stuff over here, and just to keep you in the loop, I am going to take these things from my flight plan that I have on my iPad off screen, so if you're wondering where I'm getting that data from, that's the source. Okay, so flight level 310, we have a wind of 263 at 67. Flight level 200, the wind is 266 at 52. Flight level 150, the wind is 267 at 44. And flight level 100, or 10,000 feet since we're in the US, the wind is 273 at 39. Alright, insert that. Back to the performance mode, and then we can move on to our landing. So let's go ahead and start with our landing calculation, which we are going to run through the SimBrief calculator one more time. We'll find that up here, and then landing performance. So NEWARK 22 left, that's correct. We have the full runway available. We'll remain on the standard landing weight for now, but flaps 35, and the rest of the data can stay automatic. Okay, calculate that. So, factor distance margin is 604 meters. Well, that breaks max manual. No, don't want to do that. Alright, well, looks like we are missing that information. Let's try the EFB and see what we are gonna get over there. So, performance for landing. NEWARK, runway 22 left, dry runway. Let's take wind calm, temperature 16, and the altimeter setting is 2977. What's this? Come on. That's strange. That is really strange. Can we edit this in a useful way? 29.77. Very interesting way of entering this. Okay, so that's that. Landing weight, 421.1. Is that reliable? Yeah, I'd say so. So, 421, 100. Auto brakes low, reverse all, flaps 35. Wind 0/0. Calculate. Okay. That is not a lot of stopping distance. But okay, if they say so. We're gonna stick to it. So, auto brakes minimum, flaps 35 for landing, V approach 156. Can we confirm that anywhere over here? Doesn't look like it, no. Okay, well, suppose I'm happy with it this way. And we can keep those altitudes, and the speeds are looking good as well. Okay, wonderful. So that is our FMS setup completed.
Stabilizer motion.
Ooh, why is the stabilizer moving in flight? Well, it's more or less stable, it seems. The moment I hear this, I'm always like, do we have a runaway? Do we have a stabilizer runaway? But looks like we don't. It seems pretty much stable. Not sure why the oral alert just played. Well, suppose we can live with it, can we? Okay, in any case, let's go back to our setup. So I just wanted to enter the minimums, which is 211. So we've got a barrel minimum at 211, that's it. Okay, perfect. I think that's pretty much anything we needed over here done, so let's go ahead with the approach briefing if you've got no further questions. Okay, looks good to me. So we are following the Williamstown 3 arrival, MSA 3,100 feet around Newark, and the approach will be the ILS onto 22 left. Minimums is 211, which is set on your side. And now also set on my side. Go around straight at heading 225 and then intercept the 247 inbound to that VOR. Climbing 3,000 feet, that keeps us safe over here. Extra fuel and time, we're arriving at 21.4 tons on board, and the minimum for today's flight is somewhere around 15,000, so we have plenty of extra around about half, well, 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. So the approach is going to be flown manually with the flight director on, and well, I think I am going to use manual thrust over here. I might keep the auto thrust, haven't decided on that just yet. Landing config 35 and stop margin should be around 1,000 meters. We will use the reversers in order to conserve our brake life, and we're going to vacate the runway towards the end as we are going to taxi to the cargo stands today. So vacating the runway is somewhere over here, Victor-ish. Over here in Victor, then we're gonna cross runway 2 to right in Victor, which is the only hotspot I see for our taxi in. And then via Victor, Alpha, Alpha 4 to the FedEx ramp down here. I don't see any specials on non-standards. Do you have any threats for this arrival? No. Okay, perfect. I do agree on all of that, and that's our approach briefing completed. So, very well, then we are done with this part, and I'd say we can continue our flight and our descent, and eventually I will get back to you as we're getting a little bit closer to our destination airport.
Altitude.
And with that, we are reaching, or we have already overflown the end of our star. We're on the vector leg towards the ILS approach runway to left. In the meantime, a couple of things have happened over here. First of all, we have turned on the landing lights. The seatbelts can already be turned on as well. And, well, we don't have any weather over here, so let's go back to the terrain display. Alright, and that's the 10,000 foot checks completed. We're on QNH 2980 and currently maintaining 7,000 feet on a radar vector towards our ILS. So first thing first, let's go ahead and sequence that flight plan. I am going to insert it out to Zafki over here. We'll just take present position direct, no need to bother with a radial interceptor. So in the real world I do it, but I don't think that's simulated in the TFDI yet. Last time I messed up my flight plan when I did it, so I'm a little bit careful with that for the time being. So distance to go 36 nautical miles, 7,000 feet, but a 40 knot tailwind. So that means we need 21 miles plus 4 miles for the tailwind, which is 25. Plus 5 miles to lose our airspeed, so we're looking at around 30 nautical miles for our descent. So we can continue our descent in 5 miles. Well, in the meantime, let's go ahead and read the approach checklist, please. So, system modes, auto, altimeters, QNH 2980. Approach checklist completed. Alright, let's go ahead and continue our descent. Next up, we're going down to 4,000 feet.
Altitude.
So, idle climb 4,000. Let's actually pull it in idle and see what kind of rate of descent we're gonna get here. Would expect anything between 1,500 to 2,000 feet a minute. Let's see where the aircraft is eventually going to stabilize. The sun is already getting rather low. If we look out the right hand side, yeah, there you can see it. The sun is really getting low already. It's really that time of the year where you can barely fly 5 hours eastbound and the sun is already setting. So doing around 1,400 feet a minute, I tend to say that's quite a believable value. And it pretty much equals our mathematics exactly here. 300 knots ground speed times 5 is 1,500 feet a minute rate of descent, so our aircraft is flying right within the profile that we'd be expecting. So we do have an ILS here, ILS Quebec. Let's see the approach charts, see if we can already confirm that. Yep, ILS Quebec it is. Okay, looking very good. Approaching the clouds, temperature is plus 17, so no need for anti-ice. At this time of the year, my first line of thought whenever I see clouds is, do we need anti-icing? Luckily today we don't. So we have around 18 miles to the extended center line. We are, well, leveling in 4,000, then we can lose that airspeed. And then we can get further down. MSA in this area, as mentioned, 3,100, so we are going to maintain 4,000 for the time being. Right, speed reducing towards 220, that's fine, but I'm not going to go any slower than that just yet. Or 225 to be exact. So, a little bit of cloud surfing here. God, I love this. Cloud surfing is probably one of the best parts in the entire job. Especially when you can do it manually.
Autopilot.
Which we most definitely can. One of the nice things about the 11 is the fly-by-wire just keeps the aircraft so stable. Hand flying the 11 is much like hand flying an Airbus. The thing is a stable platform. So we still have those 35 knots of tailwind, 10 miles, well 12 miles to run to the extended center line. I think the present heading is quite good, leading us on to, what's that, roughly an 11 mile final, 10 to 11 miles. Which is pretty good. The only thing we... Thank you so much. Ignore that, please. It's not like we even see anything of the photogrammetry. At least it came now and not on a 2 miles final. So, the only thing we gotta keep in mind now is our ground speed. The aircraft is already automatically reducing further, so let's extend. I'm maintaining the altitude for a little bit longer, reducing my airspeed first, so that we can stay above the MSA for as long as possible. We'll eventually have to descend below it as we're about to intercept the final, which is fine. We don't have a minimum radar vectoring chart, unfortunately, but normally the minimum vectoring altitudes are quite a bit lower than the altitude, or than the minimum safe altitudes. Okay then, let's go down to 3,000. So, 3,000 idle climb. I tell you what, let's do 1,000 feet a minute here. Thrust via... Okay, now an extended center line would be really useful. I believe around, yeah, 3-4 miles, something like that.
Stabilizer motion.
Checked. Well, we do have the glide slope over here. I'm just gonna follow that glide slope. Okay, so heading 190 will be our intercept heading. And I think we can start that turn just now. So, heading 190. And maintain 180 knots, please. Okay, cleared for the ILS approach. ILS is armed. Then rolling out, heading 190. Localizer captured. No. Let's stay on the map. It's probably a little bit nicer. Okay, flaps 15. Speed checked. And immediately we start gaining lift over here. So back to FMS speed control. Blast loop captured, go around altitude 3000 set, and runway heading is 219, which is set now. Okay, established on the ILS.
Stabilizer motion.
So, spoilers are armed already.
2500.
Checked. Right, gear down. Flaps 28. Speed check, flaps 28. So, quite a bit of crosswind, 21 knots for the time being. Flaps 35. Speed check, flaps 35. Okay, clear to land. Lights are on, and now we're flying right into the sun. Lovely. Alright, landing checklist.
Stabilizer motion.
Checked. Landing gear down for green. Auto brakes. Minimum. Spoilers. Armed. EAD. Checked. Flaps 35. Landing checklist complete. Just look at how stable the aircraft is. I really do like that. Of course it would look even better if I tracked the localizer and the glide slope accurately, but here we go again. Interestingly enough, there's an aircraft over there which is not showing on our TCAS. Even though traffic is selected. Oh, don't ask me, I am gonna ignore that. Okay, manual thrust. So we're all manual now.
1000.
Checked, stable.
1000.
You set that already. Okay, the wind is turning now, and it is turning rather significantly, as we can see on our airspeed.
Approaching 2 left.
Check. Okay, I tell you what, let's get rid of that other aircraft here. FS traffic,
500.
remove. We'll ignore the guy in front, okay?
300. Approaching minimum.
Checked.
200. Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Ouch, this plane always touches down earlier than I think it will. Okay, speed brake up, reverse normal. Come on, I said you are supposed to go away.
1,500 meters remaining.
And it just doesn't do it. Okay, I don't care, we'll go through him.
200 remaining.
Alright, auto brakes disarmed. Small reasoning here why I ignored the airplane in front. First of all, TCAS just didn't show him. How am I supposed to separate from anyone if they don't pop up on TCAS? That's my main point here. The second point, of course, is if I hit the remove traffic button and it doesn't happen. You know, we fly go around, we come back for a second attempt, and the same thing happens again. We end up in an endless loop. I can't really be bothered with that kind of stuff. Of course, if this would have been online on VATSIM, it would have been a different thing, but it's not, so... Right. We are
Approaching
clear on the
0,
right.
4 left.
Okay, crossing 4 left. Alright, so we're crossing over here, then off to the left. And here we are. Okay then. Well, and here we are. There is no after landing checklist in this aircraft, so we can just taxi to the apron on our own. It's getting dark quite quickly now. Okay, so next off to the right, I think at the end, next to the 777 over there. What better plane to park next to than a 777, right? Especially a 777 freighter. Well, hopefully soon. Okay, this looked like we could enter the ramp directly, but doesn't matter. Go to the right over here, and then we enter the ramp through that taxiway over there. Okay, APU starts. Okay, and that's our gate coming up over here, number 35. Lights are off. Okay, no marshal over here, then we've got to park ourselves. Probably something like this, I'd say. Okay, brake set, APU is available, and then numbers 1, 2, 3. Okay, all 3 engines running down normally. Looking good. So, dome light on, beacon off, belts off, APU bleed on. Well, and then the transponder goes into standby. IRS can come off, and I think that's it. Well, let's run the parking checklist and find out. Exterior lights set, anti-ice off, step trim, I knew there was something I forgot. So that should be at 3 units. So stop trim 3 units set. System display status is checked. System modes auto, spoilers retracted, slats flaps up and retracted. Fuel switch is off, park and brake set, weather radar off, transponder standby, and APU air on. Parking checklist complete. Okay, so let's go ahead and commence our unloading. No, not a pushback. God, GSX. Okay, so GPU connect, chocks set, and with that we can release our parking brakes. Well, since it's 16 degrees outside, we can't turn off that APU. Well, my friends, and that's it. I sure hope that you have enjoyed this one. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments below, and as always, if you like the flight, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link on the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.